Malapropisms. A malapropism is the use of an incorrect word in place of another, especially when the incorrect word sounds similar to the correct one. Humorous malapropisms are the type that attract the most attention, but bland malapropisms are common in speech and writing. While most malapropism examples are unintentional errors, a malapropism can technically be a deliberate misuse of a word as well. In this lesson, we will check out some famous and funny malapropisms. The mother of malapropisms. The term malapropism comes from a character called Mrs. Malaprop, from The Rivals, a 1775 five-act comedy by Richard Brinsley Sheridan. Mrs. Malaprop used words incorrectly as a funny quirk of her character. Her name became the default term for misusing a word. Her name, in turn, comes from the French, malapropos, meaning inappropriate. Here are a couple of Mrs. Malaprop's malapropism examples. He is the very pineapple of politeness. Pineapple? She subbed in this fruit name for pinnacle. She's as headstrong as an allegory on the banks of the Nile. Allegories don't spend time around rivers. What she meant was alligator. Malapropisms in literature. Shakespeare was quite the master of language, so it's no surprise that his works contain numerous malapropism examples. In Henry IV, Part 2's Mistress Quickly says that the character Falstaff was invited to dinner rather than invited. You can find another malapropism in Mark Twain's The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And it's not Huck who makes the mistake, it's Aunt Sally, who says, "I was most putrefied with astonishment." What she meant was petrified. Malapropism was one of Stan Laurel's comic mannerisms. In Sons of the Desert, for example, he says that Oliver Hardy is suffering a nervous shakedown rather than breakdown, calls the exalted ruler of their group the exhausted ruler, and says that he and Oliver are like two peas in a pot, meaning pod. Funny malapropisms by celebrities. Mike Tyson came off worse in a boxing match in 2002. When a reporter asked him where he went from here, Tyson replied, "I might just fade into Bolivian." Meaning oblivion, he wasn't too far off, but the humorous mistake still went down as one of the funniest famous malapropisms. In 2012, during an interview with Justin Bieber, David Letterman told the celeb that if he got any more tattoos, he'd look like the Sistine Chapel. Bieber replied, "I'm not going for the 16th Chapel look." Professional baseball player Mike Smith once said that his new coat had lots of installation rather than insulation. Funny malapropisms by politicians. President George W. Bush was called out for several malapropisms, perhaps the funniest being, "We cannot let terrorists and rogue nations hold this nation hostile or hold our allies hostile." We're pretty sure he meant hostage, not hostile. Gib Lewis, the Texas Speaker of the House from 1983 to 1993, supposedly said, "This is unparalleled in the state's history." We're not sure exactly what he was talking about, but we have a feeling he meant unparalleled. Boston's longest-serving mayor, Thomas Menino, described an unknown person as a man of great stature in our city. Maybe this person had a statue erected in his honor, but Menino meant stature. Thank you.